I was in England in January. Food is terrible in England. That ain't no joke. The Germans should have dropped cookbooks on those people. Last year, I did a comedy festival in Sydney, Australia. It's funny, you know, in the United States, the worst thing a black person can call a white person is a cracker. In Australia, a cracker is a really good joke. Ha ha! That was a cracker. So every year in Sydney, Australia, they have a comedy festival, and it's called the Cracker Festival. Last year, I was in Sydney, Australia, and I did the Cracker Festival. 3 months later, I was in Shreveport, Louisiana, walking around with my Cracker Festival t-shirt. Should have saw the looks people gave me, man. Crackers have their own festival. I lived in Amsterdam for 5 years, everybody. Interesting thing about Amsterdam, drugs and prostitution is legal there, but you are absolutely forbidden from riding your bicycle on certain streets. And the cops there do not play around. You can be selling cocaine, they don't care. Do not ride your bicycle on certain streets. So anyway, I moved to Amsterdam for this Dutch girl that I had fallen in love with, not the woman that I ended up marrying. And I was there for 2 years, and this girl dumped me. And I was just about to move back to the United States when these people from this Dutch television network saw me in a comedy club in Amsterdam, and they were looking for a guy to do like a David Letterman type show, or Jimmy Kimmel in Amsterdam. And I got the job, and I got to stay in this little country that I had fallen in love with. So for 1 year after this girl dumped me, she would still get together and have sex with me all the time. And I was still in love with her, man. And I wanted to get back together with her. And one night we're having dinner in this Greek restaurant in Amsterdam, and I said, listen, I just want you to know that I still love you. And I want to get back together with you. And I know we can make it work this time, baby. She goes, oh my God, I thought you knew this was just physical. I don't want to get back together with you. And I got all upset like a 14-year-old boy. And I stormed out of this restaurant, and I jumped on my bicycle, and I'm just pedaling like crazy. I'm all upset, and I'm crying. And I turned up Leidse Straat, one of the streets you're not allowed to ride your bicycle on. And my front wheel went into the tram track, and I went over the handlebars, and I landed on my face on the street, and my forehead and my nose and my chin were scraped terribly. The next morning, I woke up, and my face was mangled. And I had to be on television later that afternoon. Not a studio thing, but a man on the street thing, where I'd be asking people questions. And my face is mangled. I didn't know what to do. I went to the Bijenkorf. It's the biggest department store in Amsterdam. It's like the Macy's of Holland. I went to the makeup area. There was one chair open. I sat down. It was this gay guy, and I told him my whole life story. I'm a stand-up comedian from the United States, and I moved here for this girl, and then she broke up with me, and she told me sex with me, and I said, I want to get back together with you. She said, I thought you knew this was physical, and I have to be on television in 3 hours. Please help me. The guy goes, don't worry, I am a professional makeup artist. When I'm done with you, nobody will know anything happening. The guy went to work on my face with little sponges and brushes, and I swear to God, the man did such an amazing job on my face, the man saved my job. And I went back the next day with flowers to thank him. He wasn't there. Went back the next day with flowers to thank him. He wasn't there. I went back every day that week with flowers to thank him. He wasn't there. I still go back several times a year. Whenever I'm there, I've never seen the man ever again in my life. I don't think the man actually existed. I think he was an angel. He was a gangel. Well, you guys have been adorable. I am from Orlando, Florida, and I started being a stand-up comedian when I was 17 years old. And when I was 19 years old, I won the funniest person in Central Florida contest. Not the funniest person in Florida, Central Florida. But the grand prize was I got a plane ticket, I got to fly to Los Angeles and do a set at the world-famous Comedy Store. And oh my God, I had never been to Los Angeles before. I thought this was going to be my big break. I'm going to be a star once they see me, man. In retrospect, it was an open mic night, and I got to do 5 minutes. But Louis Anderson was there. And Louis Anderson acted like I was the funniest comedian he had ever seen in his life. You're a very funny man, huh? You're a very funny man, huh? And he invites me to hang out with him. And at the time, he's one of the most famous comedians in show business. And there's a patio bar in front of the Comedy Store, and it's right on Sunset Boulevard. There's 20, 30 comedians all sitting around him, just hanging on his every word. And I'm sitting to his right. And he keeps going, Tom's a very funny man. Have you seen Tom? He's a very funny man. Then at one point, he says he has to take a drive. Do I want to go with him? Who wouldn't want to take a drive with Louis Anderson? We go down to Sunset, Santa Monica Boulevard. We park in front of this club for like 20 minutes, and he keeps looking over his steering wheel going, I'm just looking for a friend, I'm just looking for a friend, Years later, when I live in Los Angeles, I find out that the Rage on Santa Monica Boulevard is the biggest gay bar in Los Angeles. He was showing off his young meat. I was pretty cute when I was 19. Then he says he needs to go by his apartment to pick something up. Do I want to go to his apartment with him? Who wouldn't want to go to Louis Anderson's apartment? At no point in this story do I realize what's about to happen to me. And we walk into his apartment, and he had this wall covered with photos of him and famous people. And he goes, oh, let me show you my wall of fame, And we start at this end, and we work our way down the wall. This is me with Nelson Mandela, and this is me with Ellen DeGeneres, and this is me with Kermit the Frog, and this is me with whatever. And we get all the way down to the wall, and I'm in the corner. I'm trapped. This is his move. And he turns to me and he goes, you're a very sexy man, You're a very sexy man, And he's a big dude, and he stepped in on me, and I went like this. And he cupped my ass cheeks. Both of my ass cheeks have been in Louis Anderson's hands. And he goes to kiss me, and I went like this. And as he's squeezing my ass, he kissed me on the cheek. And I went, can we go back to the comedy store? And I can't help but think about that moment all these years later and think, how much further my career would have gone if I'd have just fucked that guy. Thanks, Burbank.